The streets of Ponyville were bustling with excitement as ponies from all over hurried to decorate for the holiday. A tall blue pegasus strung garland around a lamppost, while 2 earth ponies carefully hung a wreath over their front door. On a high hilltop overlooking the small town sat the Castle of Friendship in all its splendor, where a pair of siblings were devising their own ways to celebrate.
Nelly! Got it?
A young filly spotting colors of the sunrise was struggling to place her heart-warming doll atop the mantle. Balancing on her forelegs, she stretched her neck up high and attempted to lift the tiny object in her magic. A snicker sounded from a nearby corner where her brother was watching the scene with amusement.
Careful, Breaky. Don't need you falling into the fire.
The unicorn's concentration quickly wavered as she had to catch herself before she could unceremoniously stumble into the flame.
Could you be any more helpful?
Hey, I'm just spotting you like a good, responsible older brother.
Only one of those is correct.
Just then, Princess Twilight entered the room dressed in a festive cranberry sweater decorated in ornamental snowflakes. She immediately found the source of the commotion, which drew her from the main hall and approached her 2 children.
I assume you two are getting along here?
Yes, Mom.
They answered.
Good, because I'd appreciate one heartwarming eve with no fighting.
Daybreak scoffed.
A family holiday with no arguments? I've heard of miracles, but that's cutting it.
Twilight stared down at her daughter with a raised eyebrow as the little filly shrunk back, giggling nervously.
I mean, we'll be good, won't we?
The stallion standing beside her nodded rapidly, also terrified of his mother's deadly glare. Immediately, Twilight's face eased up and she pat her youngest on the head.
Just because your father isn't here doesn't mean we can't have a peaceful heartwarming together. Now.
She levitated a stack of envelopes into each of the ponies' hooves.
Go invite every pony to the party tonight. I made a list of last year's attendees, so there shouldn't be a shortage.
The pair agreed and headed into the streets. Over at the party palace, Pinky's family was too busy making treats and decorations for the upcoming celebration. The exuberant pink pony cried out, spilling a top full of icing as she hurried into the kitchen.
We're on the clock, people! Dandy, how are those cookies looking?
Almost ready, Mom.
One of the twins called from the stove where she was watching a bunch of dough rise through the oven light.
Great! And Candy, is that batter finished?
The other, who was hunched over a large mixing bowl, nodded.
Yeah, I just have one question.
She held up a small white bag.
Is this sugar or salt?
Salt.
Dandy answered swiftly before her pupils slowly shrank.
Wait, you didn't use that in the recipe already, did you?
Candy shifted her eyes nervously about the room.
Maybe?
Dandy smacked a hoof against her forehead.
Happy heartwarming! Look what we've got!
Their attention was soon diverted when Midnight and his sister entered the building with a stack of invitations.
What's that?
Silverstreak asked through the doorway. She had been helping Pinkie Pie in the back and heard their conversation from down the hall.
Invitations for the party tonight?
Replied Midnight. He then proceeded to pass a decorative envelope around to each pony.
Oh boy, it's even got gold trim on the edges. This holiday bash is gonna be a smash.
Commented Dandy, who was holding the envelope like a prized jewel.
It better. We stayed up all night making them. How about you, Sil? Is your family coming?
Silver scratched the back of her neck.
I don't know. Normally I would go with my dad, but he's on a special Wonderbolt mission this weekend.
What about your mom?
Candy asked. Silver just rolled her eyes.
Doubt it. She hasn't been to a party in nearly 3 years. Always says she's too tired and doesn't feel up to it. But I know the real reason.
What's that?
She just doesn't want to be around any other ponies because, you know.
She gestured to her side where part of her sweatshirt bulged out.
Oh.
They all chorused in understanding, all except for Candy, who stood staring in puzzlement.
Well, maybe you can change her mind.
Dandy suggested, levitating a baking tray out of the oven.
Yeah, maybe I can.
Silver fetched a cookie from the tray and snacked on it, before sputtering it out in disgust.
Ugh. What happened to these?
She finished helping plate the rest of the goodies and returned home to find her mother where she often was at this time of year, staring up at the old family photos over the fireplace. There wasn't much noticeable in these photographs. Each displayed Silver and her parents at a very young age, all huddled together smiling. Yet, the most glaring feature was in every picture. Silver had both her wings. Gulping at the pitiful sight, Silver slowly approached the brooding Pegasus.
Hey, Mom? I was thinking, maybe we could celebrate at Midnight's place tonight. It sounds like a great party, and...
She trailed off as Rainbow Dash slowly shook her head.
No. My shift ran late. I'm going to bed early.
Yeah, I know. It's just you never want to go, and I thought...
I said no, Silver. End of discussion.
But...
What part of I don't want to celebrate Hearthwarming this year did you not understand?
all of it! What's your beef with Hearthwarming? We used to go to parties all the time before I hurt my wing.
The Cyan Mare tore her eyes away.
That's got nothing to do with it. I'm just not up for celebrating tonight.
You're never up for it!
Silver retorted.
Ugh, why do you have to be so...
I don't know why I bother. You're just so...
stubborn!
The two Pegasi stared at one another in wide-eyed silence, the tension too thick for even a knife to slice through. After a moment, Rainbow ruffled her feathers in annoyance.
Ugh, it's too late for this. I'm hitting the sack.
She quickly ascended the flight of stairs as her irate hoofsteps faded off into the distance. All alone in the foyer, Silver grit her teeth, stamping her hoof down hard on the cold floor.
Ugh! That mirror's just... Ugh!
Her eyes fell upon the main door when a glint of determination struck them.
Fine. I'll just go by myself.
She decided. She grabbed a scarf and pulled the hood over her head before trudging out into the snow. The moment she left, however, a forecast sounded on the radio.
Windy weather vane from Ponyville News. This just in. A massive blizzard is making its way through Ponyville. The weather ponies say they have no idea where the snow is coming from and encourage all residents to remain indoors for the time being. Thank you, and happy Hearthwarming Eve.
I don't remember this much snow earlier.
Silver grumbled as her hooves started sinking deeper in the ground. Quickly, she sought out a shelter under a large evergreen at the street corner.
Guess I'll just stay here and wait out the storm.
The minutes flew by, and it wasn't long until the gray Pegasus found herself drifting off to sleep.
Silver? Silver?
The young mare weakly opened her eyes to see a pair of pink blurs standing over her. Once her vision came into focus, she settled upon the notion that she, in fact, knew these two strangers.
Candy? Dandy? What are you doing here?
The one in pigtails smiled, holding up a flag with the initials DCF on it.
We're the December Celebration Foundation under the Christmas Carol branch.
What's Christmas?
Never mind that. Point is, we have an emergency of urgency involving you.
added the other, who was pointing an enthusiastic hoof at Silver.
Sis, read the client our terms.
Clearing her throat, the younger unicorn produced a long document which rolled out of her hooves onto the floor.
Ahem. Silver, tonight you'll be visited by 3 gremlins. Ow!
She was kicked in the leg by her sister.
Ghosts! Who will reveal to you the meaning of heartswarming.
What? But I already know.
Well, that's our time. We've got 64 clients to get to. Bye.
The eldest exclaimed before teleporting the 2 of them away.
Huh? Candy? Dandy?
Silver searched for the pair of twins who had mysteriously disappeared. She eventually decided that popping in random locations and speaking utter nonsense was just a normal Pie family thing and didn't deserve another thought. With that in mind, she was about to go back to sleep when the lamp post beside her started flickering. Then, without warning, the bulb burst, plunging the street into darkness. At that moment, a firefly hovered in front of her. After squinting, she realized it was not a firefly, but a small white unicorn.
Daybreak?
Nope. I'm the spirit of heartswarming past.
Said the tiny creature.
Why do you look like my friend's kid sister?
I've assumed the form of some pony familiar to you so you won't, how would you say, freak out.
Okay. Pretty sure Princess Luna is messing with me, but I'll bite. What's this about?
The spirit smiled and landed on the tip of her nose.
Silva, you seem to have forgotten what the holidays truly mean to you.
What? Me? But I'm a heartswarming guru. I have nothing wrong with the holiday.
Maybe not, but you're missing something important. And I'm here to help you realize what that is.
Uh-huh. And how do you plan on doing that?
She asked skeptically.
To reclaim what's been lost, we must revisit your past, when heartswarmings were different.
The unicorn sparked her horn and a projector randomly manifested between the 2 of them.
What's this?
The spirit cut her off and pointed at the night sky, where a large screen appeared and a home movie began playing.
Now all we have to do is place the star on top.
A raspy voice was heard from off-screen as the camera tilted up, revealing a large tree decorated in ornaments and string lights. The walls and furniture were made of clouds, informing Silver that this was indeed her fillyhood house from years back.
I'll do it!
The camera zoomed into the face of a gray Pegasus filly, her wings clearly visible and her eyes gleaming with excitement.
Go for it, kiddo.
The filly flew up to the top of the tree and placed a 5-pointed star on the tip as Rainbow cheered from below.
Woo! That's my little wonderbolt.
She then grabbed the tiny Pegasus from the air and bounced her in her hooves. Silver looked on longingly as her younger self giggled in her mother's embrace.
Is Daddy coming back?
The child suddenly asked. Rainbow sat her down and patted her head.
I don't know, kid. He's got a big show coming up, but we'll still have fun together, right?
Yeah! You were so close.
The guardian hummed.
Yeah, very.
Silver's voice was heavy, as if rocks were weighing down on her throat. Unable to watch anymore, she turned her head away as a knock sounded from on-screen.
I think I know who that is.
The little filly perked up.
Daddy!
She flew out of her mother's arms, causing the camera to topple over, abruptly ending the video. Silver sent a cold gaze at the spirit.
I still don't get what this is about.
The filly opened her mouth to respond, but stopped when a bell jingled.
That's my cue to leave. Another spirit will join you shortly. Farewell!
The spirit ignited her horn once again and disappeared in a blazing light. Silverstreak rubbed her eyes as the light dissipated. Alone again, she heaved a heavy sigh and curled up against a light blue boulder. Wait, that wasn't there before.
Holy cow!
A crystal mare with a blonde, twisted mane towered over her. On her back was a long emerald robe, and atop her head rested a magnificent crown woven from leaves and holly berries. The giant stared down at her guest with a wide-toothed grin.
Greetings, fair peasant. 'Tis I, the spirit of Hearthswarming present.
She sung merrily. Silver stuck out her tongue in distaste.
Peasant? Look here. Just because you live in a big fancy palace doesn't make me poorer than you. And why are you rhyming?
The spirit continued the fanfare, extending her hooves in a theatrical manner.
I have been summoned, forsooth, to unveil the secrets which stem from your youth.
I don't need a stranger delving into my personal life, thanks.
She attempted to leave, but found the way completely blocked by a massive tail.
The true meaning of Hearthswarming cannot be bought nor sold,
I never thought it was.
for it is in a good-natured spirit and the memories we hold.
Well, duh. Every pony knows that.
So come hither and we'll travel this snowy lane to see the fire of Hearthswarming burn once again.
Wait, what does that even mean?
Before Silver could finish, the spirit scooped her up and carried her through the streets. The pony's hoof falls were along the lines of a tornado, and every time her hooves collided with the road, they sent a rumble that tore through the town. Silver squeezed her eyes shut, relieved when the shaking finally stopped.
Now look and see the moral I speak to thee.
She looked up to see them standing in the center of the Castle of Friendship. The spirit carefully placed her down and then magically shrunk to the same size.
You could have done that earlier.
She mumbled.
But thou should not bother thyself with thoughts of one size. Self-image reflects more than that pertained by the eyes.
The ballroom was filled with chattering ponies, all clustered together and talking amongst themselves. Through the crowd, Silver happened to notice two of her own friends standing by a dessert table with a giant vat of eggnog in the center.
Better lay off, Summer Sweats. Don't want a repeat of last year.
Midnight warned with a smirk. Summer waved a dismissive hoof in his direction.
Relax. I have great impulse control. I'll only take one sip.
She poured herself a cup and took a small sip to emphasize her point.
I'll believe it when I see it.
He scoffed and walked away. Once he was out of sight, Summer took another sip and hummed in satisfaction.
Ooh, that's good.
Immediately, she downed another glass and another. Before she knew it, she was leaning over the bowl, practically dipping her head inside, when a timid stallion approached.
Excuse me? May I have some?
No, it's mine!
Summer screamed, wrapping her hooves possessively around the bowl. The stallion yelped and dashed away.
Nice to see you again. I'm so glad that you could make it.
Over by the tree, Midnight tucked a present under his wing and approached a violet alicorn.
Happy Hearthswarming, Mom.
He then presented the brightly wrapped box. Twilight opened it to find a color-coded day planner inside, separated by various tabs and dividers.
Oh, Midnight, you wonderful, wonderful pony.
She squealed in delight, swooping the stallion into her hooves, much to his protest.
No! Not in public!
Silver giggled into her hoof before turning her attention back to the spirit.
All right, so you brought me to the party. Mind telling me why?
The spirit bore the same annoying grin that she was wearing all night and gestured to the other guests.
See how every pony celebrates with mirth and cheer, spending the holiday with those they hold dear? Yet you stand desolate and alone, searching for solace beyond your home.
Hey, I was literally on my way here. I just happened to get stuck in a freak snowstorm when...
But alas, amongst all these smiles, one bears a frown. She resides alone at the corner of town, unable to forgive the seeds of her past. She spends the evening broken and downcast.
Oh no. Please don't be talking about...
The spirit clapped her hooves. In an instant, the castle's interior melted away, only to be replaced with the familiar blue walls of someone's bedroom.
Yep. Knew it.
Dressed in her bedrobe and slippers, Rainbow paced around the floor, flapping her wings anxiously. Silver and the spirit silently watched her like a pair of ghosts, neither seen nor heard.
I just don't know what to do. She won't give up. She's insistent on me going this year. Dumb Philly won't take no for an answer. Kinda like you. I wish you were here. You're so much better with her than I am. I always make things worse.
The Cyan mare muttered to herself. She then stopped and looked at her hooves.
Maybe I have been kinda selfish.
She raised her head as if expecting some sort of response, but none followed.
All right, I'm going.
Silver gasped as the elder mare phased through her like a veil of mist and darted into the hall. Rainbow immediately came upon Silver's bedroom door and knocked.
Hey, Sil. Can we talk?
Silver swallowed the lump in her throat when she realized that no one would come to answer. With a heavy sigh, Rainbow rested her forehead against the doorframe.
Look, kid. I wanted to apologize, all right? I know I've been a stick in the mud lately. I guess I'm just not ready to let go, you know?
She traced the wooden indents of the door with her hoof, smiling briefly.
Maybe we can do something together. Just like old times. Applejack says Whitetail Lake is frozen over. We could go skating on it. Sound good?
Rainbow's face fell.
Okay, well, I'll leave you alone for now. Good night, Wind Whipper.
She waited another minute and sagged her head when silence followed, solemnly retreating back to her room. Silver felt tears well up in her eyes as the spirit spoke up.
As you see, the further you pull away, the more distant you become.
Wait, you didn't even rhyme.
Their ears perked when another bell was heard.
It seems my task is now through, but there's one more spirit awaiting you. On the sound of the chime, you'll be transported to a distant time. Fare thee well.
Before Silver could protest, an icy wind blew and the spirit vanished in a cloud of fog. Silver desperately searched for a way out and was soon standing before a misty mare draped in a dark cloak, the only light pulsing from her horn. The young Pegasus didn't flinch as expected, but instead raised an inquisitive eyebrow while she inspected the stranger.
Serenity? Let me guess. The spirit of Hearth's warming future? Can you not talk either? Okay. So great, spirit! What missing piece of Hearth's warming hath you to show me?
The unicorn pointed off in the distance where a small house stood and two ponies were seen bickering outside. Silver squinted and saw that these were unsurprisingly her and her mother. But this Silver seemed different. Her signature hoodie now looked faded and slightly torn, and her eyes, although hidden by the hood, were malevolent and cold. She was lugging a heavy saddlebag as she scowled at the other mare.
Please, Sil, don't do this!
What, you gonna take this away from me too?
Silver Streak swallowed the lump in her throat. Seeing her confident, devil-may-care mother on her knees, now resorted to a sniveling wimp, was unsettling to say the least.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to protect you.
Her daughter heaved a dry laugh.
Yeah, 'cause you did that so well last time.
Rainbow stepped back, ears flat against her head.
Silver.
I'm leaving, Dash! Don't try to stop me!
With that, she set off running into the heart of the blizzard. Rainbow screamed for her to come back, but the other Pegasus was already far too ahead to listen. The fog eventually became too thick, obliterating both the house and Pegasi. When it cleared, Silver was running along the edge of the mountain. Her tears blinded her view that she couldn't see the cliff up ahead when her hooves suddenly met the edge and...
Hold on. This doesn't make any sense.
The spirit's eyes widened and looked down to see the current Silver glaring at her skeptically.
Why would I ever agree to go on a storm by myself? That's suicide. And even if I was that mad, which I'm not, I wouldn't just ditch my friends, especially during a freaking blizzard. I would probably just bunk at Serenity's for the time.
Do you realize how hard this guardian stuff is? It's torture.
The spirit's booming voice was the equivalent of 1,000,000 tiny avalanches.
Every year, I've listened to the bunch of miserable, egotistical jerks drone about how pitiful their insignificant lives are. And it's my responsibility to make sure they learn their lessons and amend their ways. So you can just smile like all the others and act like you've had some great epiphany, so I can soak in a hot bath and rest for eternity.
Her horn was glowing dangerously as she held her face mere inches away from the trembling Pegasus. Silver stood horror-struck, mouth agape and knees rattling.
Actually, now that I think about it, I have learned something after all.
She stuttered, slowly backing away from the demonic mare. The spirit took a breath and composed herself.
Well, good. Because my contract clearly states that I have to get you to have the change of heart or whatever, or I don't get my holiday bonus. And I need that money to retire.
Uh-huh.
Silver gulped and nodded robotically. The spirit relaxed and gave a small smile, levitating a bell out of her cape.
Now, with a ring of a bell, you'll be returned to your current time.
Silver moaned and grabbed at her head.
Phew. Seriously, that Luna's gotta get a hobby.
She looked over at the town hall clock, which read 11:55.
Well, message loud and clear, I guess.
It was only a few minutes past midnight when Silver burst through the door.
Mom!
Silver?
Rainbow heard her from the living room and instantly rushed to greet her.
I'm sorry.
They both said before smiling.
I know you lost a lot after the accident, but I'm fine now. And I just want us to be like we used to be.
Silver said. Rainbow lowered her eyes.
I guess I haven't fully gotten over what happened. I just wanted to protect you, and all I did was drive you away.
Silver beamed, grabbing her mother's hoof and squeezing tight.
Hey, as long as I have you, nothing bad will happen.
They pulled each other close with Rainbow's wings firmly wrapped around Silver. The pair hadn't hugged like that since Silver was a filly, and it was nice to relish in that familiar warmth yet again. Rainbow pulled away with a sly grin.
So there's still a few hours left. Should we crash their party?
Are you kidding? Isn't that what you do best? Rainbow crash.
Oh, sick burn! That's my girl.
She praised, rubbing the hairs on Silver's head.
Oh, by the way, don't eat the cookies.
Rainbow groaned and rubbed her weary eyes before they widened. All three spirits stood at the foot of her bed, with the DCF twins in front of them.
Hello? What are you all doing in my house?
She questioned, too tired to feel threatened by these trespassers. One of the twins spoke up, wearing a sheepish smile.
So, here's the thing. There was sorta a mix-up with the clients tonight. Seems some ponies switched the R&S files.
She said, glaring at her sister.
Well, sorry, but I couldn't remember which letter came first.
It's in the song!
Hello? Still here.
The unicorn took a long, calming breath and redirected her attention on the Pegasus.
Right. So, anyway, We're on a time crunch. We need to get you to learn the spirit of Hearth's warming in 2 hours. Ready? Lightning round, go!
What? Huh?
Before Rainbow could respond, the unicorn ignited her horn, and they all vanished in a flash of light. The end.